Hi guys, it's Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi. Happy 2024. Wow, what a futuristic year. And lots is going on with Space Command and our other projects, lots to bring you up to speed on in the near future. But that is not why we are here today. When Rod Serling was nominated for his first Emmy for Twilight Zone, he'd already won Emmys for Patterns and for Requiem for Heavyweight and for The Comedian. These were all live TV broadcasts. He was so sure he wouldn't win the Emmy for Twilight Zone that he didn't even shave before the awards ceremony. And so when he did win, he got up and he said, I don't know how deserving I am.
I don't know how deserving I am, but I do know how grateful. Thank you so very much.
He's sitting next to Buck Houghton, the great producer of the first 3 seasons of Twilight Zone, and it's just a wonderful moment. George Clemens, the DP, the director of photography on Twilight Zone, also won an Emmy that night as well. But the reason Rod Serling didn't shave and the reason he didn't expect to win was because of the other shows that were nominated. Principal among them, an episode of Playhouse 90 entitled Project Immortality, written by Loring Mandel. Now, for those of you who don't know the history of television, first of all, for those of you who don't know the history of me, when I was in my early 20s, I wrote the Twilight Zone Companion, which has been in print in various editions ever since, including the new edition that has links to audio and video and all sorts of stuff. And I've produced all the home video, including the Blu-ray edition, which has 52 commentaries that I did with many of the luminaries from the Twilight Zone. So I'm the world's expert on the Twilight Zone, is the long and short of it. And But during the 50s, when TV first came to prominence in the late 40s and throughout the 50s, most American television was broadcast live. They might, and they might make it what was called a kinescope that would air in other time zones or, so forth. But it was aired live, and usually you'd only have a chance to see it once, and then it was gone. And the great jewel of live television was a show called Playhouse 90, which CBS aired and which would present top dramas written originally for Playhouse 90, and they would star the greatest actors, and they would commission these. The writers might take a year writing them, and it was sort of the flagship of CBS. 90-minute dramas presented live on the air. And Requiem for Heavyweight, Rod Serling's great play of the 1950s, was aired on Playhouse 90. Many other shows were too. And but Project Immortality was a science fiction piece starring the great Lee J. Cobb. Now, Lee J. Cobb, of course, was the great Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman on Broadway. He also reprised that in television in the 60s. He was the cop in The Exorcist. He was in many, many roles, brilliant as the villain in On the Waterfront, just a terrific actor, and he's phenomenal here. This is live TV, so there's very little room for error. And Kenneth Haig stars with him, and he would later be in the Last Flight episode of Twilight Zone. There are many Twilight Zone alumni on this production. You'll see Don Kiefer, who played the guy who gets turned into a jack-in-the-box in It's a Good Life. You'll see Paul Fix, who was the first Doctor on the Enterprise in William Shatner's Star Trek and the second pilot, and Barney Phillips, who's the soda jerk in Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up on Twilight Zone. So it's it's a wonderful cast, wonderful ensemble, and Patty McCormick, who also was really a standout in The Bad Seed. The movie The Bad Seed is in this as well. It's a terrific piece of work, and it's science fiction. And the basic premise is there's a scientist who has developed a program where he wants to basically store the entirety of someone's mind in a computer, essentially make a computer duplicate of them. And again, this is 1959 that this aired, so it's way ahead of its time. And he chooses Lee J. Cobb, who's a brilliant scientist and dying of leukemia, as his test subject, his initial test subject. And so it's just a wonderful piece of writing, wonderful acting, wonderful direction by Fielder Cook, who also directed Serling's work as well. And this is the show that Serling felt sure was going to win the Emmy. So, but you have not been able to see it, nor have I. This is the first time I've seen it because it aired in 1959 and then was gone. So the one way they would preserve these things is they made kinescopes, and what that would be is they'd have a high definition for that time, black and white monitor. They'd turn the camera toward it and film in 16 millimeter the live TV show. They would then make what was called a wet print, which was developing it very, very quickly, so that, for instance, if the initial version would air in New York, and then 3 hours later the kinescope would air for the West Coast, and that was what television was. So amazingly, I've just found Playhouse 90, Project Immortality, and I'm going to share it with you now. And you can see it's a wonderful piece of work. Loring Mandel would go on to many other triumphs. Particularly, there's a show he wrote for HBO in 2001, a TV movie called Conspiracy, about the Wannsee Conference where the Nazis decided on the details of the final solution. Stars Kenneth Branagh, and is a great piece of work. He won Loring Mandel won an Emmy for that, and deservedly so. But right now, you can see what made Rod Serling decide not to shave for the Emmys. You can see the show that he thought would win, and it really is a great piece of work. Michael Landon from Bonanza is also in it, playing Lee J. Cobb's son, and I think you'll really enjoy it, as I did. And so here we are, presented here on Mr. Sci-Fi in its entirety, Playhouse 90, Project Immortality.
Lee J. Cobb, Kenneth Haig, Gusti Huber, Michael Landon, and Patty McCormick as Ketty, starring tonight on Playhouse 90. Playhouse 90, brought to you by Camel, far and away the largest selling cigarette today. Rich in flavor, mild to smoke. Have a real cigarette. Have a Camel. And by Kimberly-Clark, world leader in quality products for home and industry. Among them, wonderfully soft Delsey bathroom tissue and Kleenex tissues that pop up one at a time. And by Ansco, America's first manufacturer of photographic products. Quality products for industry, for professional use, for everyone. If it's from Ansco, you know it's A+. On Playhouse 90, to introduce tonight's show, Dr. Frank Baxter.
Good evening. Our Creator would never have made such lovely days and given us the deep hearts to enjoy them above and beyond all thought, unless we were meant to be immortal. So wrote the famous American man of letters, Nathaniel Hawthorne. From the beginning of time, man has been concerned with immortality. Poets and the prophets have all dealt with it. For man wants to live beyond this life he knows. Tonight, Playhouse 90 presents Project Immortality, written especially for this series by Loring Mandel. This is the story of a man who's offered an unusual kind of immortality, a triumph of today's science, immortality in a machine. Our play stars Lee J. Cobb as Lawrence Donor, Kenneth Haig, Gusti Huber, Michael Landon, and Patty McCormick as Ketty. Just 1 minute, Act 1 of Project Immortality.
How about you, General?
I don't think so, sir.
Staff car 192. One moment.
Sorry, Professor.
Hey, I'm fascinated.
Dr. Allen speaking. No, Colonel. There's to be no announcement. No announcement. You assemble your group and I'll join you after I put Professor Donor on his plane. Colonel, don't call me again. I'll be at your location in 45 minutes.
No public announcement?
No, sir.
Why not?
We think it's best, Professor.
We? Surgeon General?
State Department.
That's remarkable. You know, I'm so highly classified now, my night nurse has to have top security clearance. Have you ever spent 4 days in bed, Doctor?
Not for a long time.
It's exhausting. Incidentally, the food at your hospital is dreadful.
I know.
Washington's a beautiful city.
Yes, it is.
I'll miss it. Very much.
The job of Project 0260, Department of Defense, was to perfect the means of taking the pattern of a man's mind and duplicating it in a computer. It is not a dream. It is not the hallucination of a science fiction editor. And today, in the giant computer installations of Washington, Princeton, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, it is being done. Up to this day in Washington, it had been leisurely research. Now the race had begun.
Colonel Bennett, please. This is Schramm.
Martin?
Dona's dying.
That's a donor?
He's dying on us. Colonel Bennett, did you receive a memorandum on Dona?
The date of the memorandum was 4 months ago. Looking back, it seems like a year ago, or another year before that. Actually, the experience, the story itself, began only 4 months ago.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. I'm afraid that's my opinion. I'd be very happy to explain it to you. I'll be right over. Chronic leukemia, terminal phase.
6 months, no more. You can't move in on a dying man.
Why not? We got a few months.
We need a year.
We haven't got it.
Well, to do it in less, it'd take 10 hours a day, every single day. A dying man. And he hasn't agreed to it.
He will. I'll get over there tonight or tomorrow morning.
Now you'll end up getting someone else.
That's what the colonel wants. I don't.
This is not a business we can rush. What if he dies before we finish? That's the chance. Probably a good chance. Reevaluate. Is Donor's mind the one we want?
I want the greatest mind in the country. Who else?
This is classified secret on the health of Professor Lawrence Donor, member Presidential Scientific Advisory Board. Evidence of a blood condition, progressive in nature, indicates that the professor
I regard these days as days of emergency. It seems simple to conclude that this New England house and the comfortable professorship which provided it were the medals of an old and spent life. The active men were not here. They were in industry or in Washington. In the home I would be walking into, there would be solemnity and tears. There would be gray faces and a sense of sickness. After I had rung the bell and it was too late, I realized I did not want to go in.
Yes?
Martin Schramm.
Yes, all right. Come in, Mr. Schramm.
Thank you.
How do you do, Mr. Schramm? Heißen Sie sich Schramm oder Schramm?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, Schramm is a German name. Do you speak German?
No, I read technical German.
Oh, this is my son, Arthur.
Martin Schramm. All right.
Would you like a drink?
No, thank you.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Are you selling something, Mr. Schramm?
I'm with the Defense Department. Are you Mrs. Donor?
Yes, I'm Eva Donor. What could the government be selling?
Mother, you stole my butterflies. I had my Danish plexus here and now it's gone.
Ich habe mir den Banasplexibus ausgeliehen, weil meiner zerfallen ist und Boston will die Kollektion zeigen. I do not steal butterflies. Now you'll be patient and you'll get your Banasplexibus back. It's inside here, and when Boston is through showing it, they'll return it. I did not steal it.
If you keep stealing all my things, I'll never have a collection.
Katie, I am sorry. I should have asked you. Introduce yourself to this gentleman from the Defense Department, Mr. Martin Schramm.
Hello.
Hello.
I have an appointment with Professor Donor, Mrs. Donor.
Oh, you do? Well, go upstairs. Larry! Larry, the Defense Department. Second room as you go to the window. Would you like some tea?
No, thank you.
Look out for the plants.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Eva, what did you... What? Are you lost? Eva, who's this?
Mr. Schramm from the Defense Department.
Oh, come in, Mr. Schramm from the Defense Department. Don't step on the seedlings. Yes. Did you fly down?
Well, I flew from Washington to Boston. I caught the train from there.
Well, by whatever means, you have arrived.
It's an honor to meet you, sir. I've been planning this for over 2 years.
Well, you come with a brilliant blast of paperwork, Mr. Schramm. The past 14 hours, memoranda, letters, wires, Defense Department, Department of Intelligence, Army, 2 couriers, all telling me to be prepared for the visit of Mr. Martin Schramm. A whole snowfall of papers.
Only a snowfall. We had hoped for an avalanche. But seriously, sir, we think we can do this. We would, or rather I would, take note of all your methods, submit you to every conceivable test, every challenge, note every response, and then with all the material that we gather, we have a method by which our computer can sift and extract a pattern. Your pattern, the way you think, the way you react. Then we make this pattern the program of our computer. The computer becomes you.
This idea to sum up a man on punched cards is one in which you have a great deal of confidence.
Absolute confidence. Your own paper, Neuromathematica, was a landmark to us.
Oh.
Anyway, you've worked on computer design. You know it can be done.
Yes, like bronzing baby shoes, only you dip the brain instead of the Oxford.
Well, it would be like being able to compute Newton and Galileo on missile design if we'd had their brains duplicated.
Or a cabinet meeting with Benjamin Franklin on fiscal policy.
Exactly.
Only old Ben would insist that a penny saved is a penny earned. We'd all save our pennies and the economy would collapse. And now, each mind has its time and place, but that isn't relevant. Nothing about this disturbs you?
Disturbs me? No, sir, it excites me. This is an idiot world. It's a lunatic asylum. The only answer I can see is in logic and intellect and order. The only answer I can see is in science. That may not seem so important in such a pretty little town as this, sir,
Well,
but
pretty little towns don't soften the brain.
No, sir.
And science gives no answers, only alternatives. People make choices. Science knows no right or wrong. It's only a tool.
A tool that dragged us out of the Middle Ages.
Middle Ages of what?
About the project.
No. About yourself, please.
Well, I'm a mathematician. I'm unmarried. I don't smoke. I'm a social drinker. Makes me an ideal house guest. I rise early. I make my own bed and lie in it, impervious to lumps in the mattress.
That makes you no princess.
I am no princess. May I show you the study?
You know, these tests would necessarily have to be most time-consuming, and my time is now proscribed, I'm told.
Yes, Professor Donor, I know that. May I show you the proposal?
Yeah, show me the proposal. Well,
Gentlemen would like tea?
yes, thank you.
Well, here. I would be ashamed to see the government in that disgraceful sweater.
You think this sweater's disgraceful?
Professor Donor, I feel I should point out in the early part.
As you sow, so shall I rip.
Men cannot live by thread alone.
It's a bit far-fetched. You don't like puns. Ah, well. Well, I suppose you want an immediate answer.
Well, you know, I think how important time is to us.
Oh, yes, and to me. I have many projects, some of great importance.
Have you anything as important as this?
Oh, yes.
I need 10 hours a day, tests of every kind, exploring every fragment of your work.
Yes, no lectures, please. I know the project. When I've arrived at a decision, I'll let you know. Russian or English?
Black.
One black, one civilized. Martin, may I? When you've got this computer acting at being me, what are you going to do with it?
I'll put it to work.
To work for whom? You'll admit that's a relevant question.
Irrelevant, yes. To work saving us. I believe this world is threatening to burst, to smash apart. And the only hope I can see is in brains. The best brains, a brain like yours. So let us have it. Let us duplicate it.
What if it's an imperfect likeness?
Well, at least we'll have a likeness. Isn't that really what we need to talk about?
Electronic immortality.
Yes.
I'm glad you put it that way. You tell me I'm dying, and the doctors say the same thing, I suppose you know.
Yes.
Which is why you're here.
Yes, sir.
But, like Faust... Knowest Faust?
No, sir.
Oh. Use well your time. It flies so swiftly from us. But time through order may be won, I promise. So, friend, my views to briefly sum. First, the Collegium Logicum. There will your mind be drilled and braced, as if in Spanish boots 'twere laced. 'Twill plod along the path of thought, and thus to graver paces brought. Instead of shooting here and there, a will-o'-the-wisp in the murky air. Days will be spent to bid you know what once you did at one swift blow, like eating and drinking. You'll stay to dinner, won't you? You see, I don't feel I'm dying.
Mother, I can't open it. Can I let Arthur do it?
Now, you know I won't let a male in my kitchen.
Well, let him do it out there.
Now, we serve the wine. We don't hand them bottles to open.
Okay, but you're spoiling our whole spirit of togetherness.
I am? Arthur, more potatoes. You're much too thin. Your pants are sagging, and your behind doesn't exist at all. You're not being cushioned as nature intended you should be.
Yeah, well, I'm full.
Mother, you're always personifying nature. Nature isn't anybody. Nature doesn't intend anything. Right, Dad?
Yes, well, if you personify it, you reveal nothing about nature. You only reveal yourself. Martin's behind is his own business. Pass the bread, Kitty. Martin, how do you see nature?
Well, I agree with Ketty. You can't personify.
Oh, no, forget him, Kitty. How do you feel about nature? Is it a he or a she? Or Machiavelli or Kris Kringle or Fagin or Mahler or Bach? How? Vincent Newman.
Well, I believe nature is merely a set. A definitive set of finite subsets, subject to laws, some of which are known.
Ask a mathematician.
I think he's right. I don't know what he said, but I think he's right.
Howard.
28.
What scores?
McGill in Toronto.
With whom did you study?
Otto Bell Lerner.
Oh.
Great man. He did some top-flight work 20 or 30 years ago, but he wasn't doing anything when I was there, just coasting downhill. I saw him about a year before he died. By then, I was working on stuff way over his head.
He was a friend of many years, Martin.
Well, I only meant that in applying his work, there were...
Well, you thought because you're an applier and he was merely a theoretician, that you were necessarily more advanced than he. Well, by that reasoning, I, too, am coasting. Am I coasting?
Well, I can't answer that.
Oh, come now, answer. You don't suppose you'll hurt my feelings?
No, if I can answer it.
He's hedging.
Martin, you are.
Look, Professor Donor, I know every word you've written, and I know how important they were and how important they can be, and that's why I'm here, trying to get an answer out of you. While you potter about with a million little insignificant matters of charts and puns and vegetables growing on the stairs. My work has been based on yours, sir. Now when I look to you for an answer, I do not receive one.
Well, that makes me like the fellow who saved you, set you up in business, fed you during the Depression, paid your wife's hospital bills, but who's done nothing for you lately.
I have very great respect for you, sir, and there is something you could do for me right now.
Love me, love my vegetables. You play a musical instrument?
No, sir.
No. The Donor Quartet. In this room, Martin, we transpose everything into the key of E. The tonic E resounds in this room. The E, and to a lesser extent, the B above it. They sing out.
Professor Donor.
Well, I have no wish to keep you in suspense. We'd like to have you as a house guest, but I reject your project. I have a lot of work to do of my own. You're welcome to stay and watch if you like. If watching me at my work can be of any help to you at yours, you're most welcome. Would you like to stay on that bed?
No, sir.
Take the sofa.
Oh, Ketty, I hope you get your butterfly back.
Yeah.
Martin, please sit down.
Where did I leave my coat? Oh, right there. Thank you.
Oh, stay and learn.
Sorry, I have work.
And I.
This is your work?
Yes.
Mine is the project.
Well, is not your project me?
Not your clever repartee, not your music, you.
Well, this is me.
Well, I'm sorry I can't use it. Just the mind, just the part I can save. It was very good of you to see me at all, Professor. Goodbye, Mrs. Donor.
Lawton, we'll discuss this after the music. I'm sure you'll find it most interesting. Please sit down. Let's begin now.
Professor Donor, sitting at your feet is for your disciples. I have my own work.
Well, I'll give you 1 hour. 1 hour a day, that's all.
It's not enough.
Well, an hour is all it deserves. Just 1 hour. Please sit down.
2 hours and a half hour at night to check results.
Well, I'm not bargaining with you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were. I'd like to stay. 2 hours.
Well, before breakfast. From 6:30 to 8:30. 2 hours.
And a half hour after dinner to check results.
Well, of course.
Martin, is he working with you at all?
2 hours a day.
What's happening in that
His
house?
mind goes off in 100 different directions. Also, he has some philosophical reservations about the project. Ask him the sum of 2 and 2 and you get Faust.
Then it's just a waste.
No, sir, it is not.
You expect to get more?
Yes, sir.
How much more?
Enough.
How soon?
I don't know.
Well, I know the machine, that's what I know. I could process everything you've sent me on one drum unit, one tape unit. Nothing. I could program this much material with an erector set. Not enough. Not nearly enough.
No time passes. I'm here. The subject is that way, 600 miles.
All you get is 2 hours a day. Forget it.
You're lucky to have that. I got 2 from him. Nobody else could have got that much. Next week it'll be 1 more and maybe 2 the week after, but I'll get it bit by bit. He weakens, his line slackens, and I get the hours, and that's the way it has to be. Donor will hand us nothing.
Which is precisely what we're getting.
Well, I've got to be there. I have work to do.
Shrimp!
Yes, sir.
You want any help?
No, sir. If anybody has to be with Donor, it has to be me. When I get back, I may not have the full 10 hours a day yet, but I'll have plenty. And I'll be able to translate it for you from the original Abyssinian. I returned to the house. By now, I had gotten 3 hours each morning. And every evening, after the music, another hour and a half. And beyond that, Donor would give me nothing.
Mother?
It seems amazing to me now that I did not then realize what it meant to the family of this man. For me to live there, hovering over Donor's shoulder like a scavenging bird.
So I'm gonna keep him up all night again? Shouldn't let him do it.
Do your work. I can't interfere.
What does he want Dad to do?
I don't know. I'm not clear.
I'm not cleared for secret or top secret, but I am cleared for...
Well, it isn't good for him to get Dad yelling.
Ah, your father loves to yell. He always yells.
Did you notice the spots on his hands? Blotches?
Please do your work.
What are they?
The doctor said to expect that. Small, minute hemorrhages just beneath the flesh.
Mother?
The doctor said to expect the spots. So, expect the spots.
Do they mean anything? About how long?
Nothing has changed. Put some music on. I'll wash your hair.
Yeah, nothing except everything.
No, it has not.
Arthur.
Well, here we are with someone else in the house. Now, how long is this guy gonna stay here?
Oh, shut up.
Well, what's the government doing in our house? When do they stop? When are they gonna leave him for us?
That looks smaller. You notice?
I suggest we compromise. We'll calibrate the volume control. Find the optimum setting which is loud enough for me, quiet enough for you.
Well, never mind. As long as I can see the use for it, I can adapt to it.
Yes, well, you adapt too easily. I don't think I like it. And don't shortchange music. It's very important. Very close to mathematics, or the other way around.
Let's go on to number 3.
Number 3. No. This is stupid and wasteful. I refuse to do it.
Right, wasteful, and any other reasons you have for not wanting to do the problem.
Is this your method of penalizing me?
Number 4.
Number 4, prove that the square root of 2 is an irrational number. This is robbery. This is thievery of time. Another elementary problem for a high schooler. Ask any one of them. They'll give it to you step by step by rote, but don't ask it of me.
Every question has a reason.
Well, pick a child.
Your brain is supposed to be something special.
Well, if it is, listen to it. Your approach is wrong. Your method is wrong. It's backward.
Why?
If I had a month, I could tell you why. But I know the answer first, and the reason second. Read these, and then we'll discuss it.
I've read them. The scientific method has always been step by step to a solution.
Not mine. What do you want, Arthur? Do you want to talk to me?
Oh, no, I just want to get a book for Ketty.
All right. Did you find the book?
Yeah. Is it good to get so excited?
What?
Well, Mother wouldn't say anything, but she hears all this going on. I think she's upset.
Upset about what?
Well, she wouldn't say anything, but I know she worries about you, and I think it bothers her when you spend the whole day fighting.
Well, your mother didn't say this to you.
Do you want me to leave?
No.
Yes, I'd like you to leave.
This is between your mother and me. Hmm?
Yes, but she wouldn't say anything
Well,
to you,
then
so
that's a decision.
All right, I'm sorry.
I know. Well?
May I stay?
What for?
I thought that after you finished, we could sit down and talk. I have some things I'd like to talk about for myself.
I don't want to get
No,
in between.
stay. Arthur, what is it you want?
Dad, it's not like asking for a dime for ice cream. It's not yes and no kinds of things.
You want to be a professional adolescent downstairs, please.
Oh, I'm dismissed.
Whatever you want. You have my full approval.
Well, that's fine. Full approval. But don't you even want to hear? Maybe a couple of juvenile delinquent friends of mine and I have been making plans to roam the streets, performing senseless acts of violence. Full approval? Maybe I want to join the Merchant Marine. Full approval? Maybe I want to study law next year. Full approval?
Professor Donor.
Hmm? We were discussing the so-called scientific approach.
We'll do this later. I'll send it
No. The square root of 2 is an irrational number. Yes, well, there are 2 proofs. I prefer the short one. I can recite either or both for you, or write them out, or... Want me to recite it? Or...
Why does he keep him here?
What can I tell you, Arthur? I accept. I do not ask.
I ask. I want to know.
He'll prove the boy wrong. Your father will keep him here and prove him wrong. It challenges him. He needs this. That is the reason.
He doesn't need challenges now.
We all need to prove ourselves, Arthur. Don't we?
And now a word from our alternate sponsor of Act One, your gas company.
Up, Martin, up! Martin! Scouting for 7:30 for Brookhaven. Ever been to the laboratory at Brookhaven, Long Island? Oh, you've got a surprise. Heave up, Martin. Up. Breakfast. Martin, get. Oh, you're not listening.
No, I'm not listening. I'm getting up.
Well, come on now. Don't lag.
Even in
Hurry.
the foggy state of half asleep, I struggled to understand the reason for Donor's excitement. He was preparing to prove something to me. He succeeded later that day at Brookhaven National Laboratory. He also proved something to himself, finally, that he was dying.
No. The call came at 2 a.m. I didn't know. You didn't forget your security card. No. Well, the Army will have a limousine waiting for us in New York. We'll take this drive through the woods. Oh, those lovely woods. I used to do a lot of consulting up until a few months ago. You're not listening, are you?
Oh, I'm sleeping. Let me sleep.
Actually, what the Army wants is a consultation on a computer problem for missile design. You know, these things are exciting.
I tell you, Professor Donor, we came up with a whole new end in the study, and we've been blocked, absolutely blocked. We send it to Rand, and they say they need 6 months. We just haven't got that much time.
Well, I'm very anxious to hear the presentation.
Well, here's the thing. Have we stumbled into an area where computers cannot be used?
Oh, no, that's unlikely. Sir, when will we be there?
Oh, soon, sir.
This is it, isn't it?
No, sir, not yet.
Well, I'm so anxious to hear the presentation. Mr. Secretary, it's been so many months.
Professor Donor, it's an honor to have you with us.
Oh,
How are you? You're looking wonderful.
Oh, quite well. Very well. I think we ought to review all weight and fuel ratio as good as possible. Professor Donor's not had time to get the many problems. Recent experimental results. Is that all right, General?
Yes, we should consider it.
All right. Now, Professor, assuming you are familiar with the present solid fuel problems within the Army program.
Yes, I am.
Well, very briefly then. We find that P of
Colonel
T
Lick
equals
began the
1/2
presentation. A problem Donor was asked to solve concerned the designing of two distinct kinds of spaceships. The first kind to travel from here up to a space station orbiting the Earth. The second kind to operate from there out into the galaxies. Donor listened. The presentation of the problem took 4 hours. He couldn't wait to get on.
Our concern is the question, really, of conservation of outer space. We don't want to send a lot of junk up there. The less, the better. That's our belief. And now, Professor Donor, if you'll allow me to elaborate. First, we examine the differential change.
Major Wiener presented the point of view of the Army's Missile Testing Center. He argued for the kind of solution which would be economical of men and equipment, 49 minutes. Dr. Fellows discussed the design of space vehicles, the different functions and missions of ships that fly in the air and those that fly in space, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Colonel Emmett Cogan presented the complete nomenclature of the planned orbiting satellite which could be used as a space station for transferring from one ship to another, 1 hour and 4 minutes. And Professor Lipp, civilian mathematician from the Aberdeen installation, talked forever on possible computer problems that might be possible should the problems come up at all. The Undersecretary of the Army made the final presentation. He discussed the urgency of finding a solution, not in terms of mathematics, but in the equally scientific language of money. Donor, almost from the moment he entered the room, had been straining to get to that blackboard. He wanted to work, and now he could begin.
Gypsy who cavorted one night with a gypsy. At the old caravan, the young man from Poughkeepsie with Gypsy watched Tipsy. No. Well, I don't think the problem is beyond solution. No, and redesign of the machine won't be necessary either. I think one of the large digital computers will do the work. No, we need an approach to the problem. Where do we start? F plus F prime equals V. F, functions of Earth vehicle to space station. F prime, functions of vehicle from space station to space target. V, functions of presently designed all-purpose vehicle.
I can't pretend to have understood it all, but to the people who did understand it, Donor began to pull a rabbit from a hat. And he did it in 15 minutes. Donor wasn't coasting, he was soaring.
Numbers y sub j, where j goes from 1 to n sub k minus 1, such that the summation of a sub I times x sub I to the j plus 1 power is less than or equal to y sub j. Subject to certain boundary conditions and better quality chalk. Now, Steiner at Princeton has an approach to this problem interests me very much. Now, while I don't entirely agree with him, his contention is that such expressions are linear, and the set of inequalities becomes readily provable here and here. Yes, now substitute these expressions in the original equation, and I think we have an approach to the problem. Yeah. Of course, it'll require a lot of imaginative programming, but I think with this kind of an approach, I think we can reasonably expect a solution.
You saved us a lot of time.
Well, would you please restate the first equation? I didn't quite get it before you were ready.
First equation.
Please.
Let's see. As I recall, the...
Professor. Somebody got a doctor. Where do you get that chair? Here, sit right here. Sit here. Take it easy. No, you all right?
It's all right. A curious female Alsatian sort of moves with the males of each nation. At the point of a line, she would cry, "It's for science. I'm seeking the human equation." What was the equation you wanted?
Well, don't bother, sir. I'll get it from one of the others.
No, I don't mind. I'm quite equal to it. I was good, huh?
Yes, sir. You were great.
Huh? Farm, planted the cabbages. 20 years has planted nothing but cabbages. I pass it year after year on the train. I say to myself, what a foolish farmer. The earth has never rotated, never replenished, never even left fallow. Crop must be terrible by now, and still he plants it. You suppose that old farmer knows something about the land that nobody else knows? Or is the crop really that bad? You can't tell from the train. For years, I've been telling myself I'm going to drive past that place, have a look for myself.
Tell me you're an expert on cabbage, and I'll believe it.
Was I really good this morning?
You know better than I.
Oh, that was satisfying. You know, I'm supposed to have this poison coursing through my system all the time now. I wonder how many times I've ridden on this train. Oh, these doctors. Doctors. You tell yourself you won't trust them. They've been wrong so many times before, and it was as if the stopple was pulled out, everything drained away, just sucked out. So, I am going to die, huh?
Give me the chance to work with you.
That's an interesting problem. The whole trouble, you know, with this rocket business is this competition between the powers. All this secrecy. Just to see who gets up higher, faster, first. Like cutting your own nose to fight your space.
Could make another limerick.
They were terrible this morning.
Well, I can put up with it.
Oh, well, No, it's all right. Let it lie. It's ridden this train as long as I have. It deserves a rest. So, this is what it'll be like, huh? Inertia. Waste.
It won't be waste if we can save the talents you have. Now that you really feel it, let me try.
Can you really do this? Suck out the mind, discard the man?
Yes.
And you'll stay? I'll do what I can. You offer quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Well, nice to see you again. How are you?
Broiled, not fried.
Thank you, Mrs. Donner.
4000 AD. Somebody hiccuped, so from then on, men wore ties.
Nonsense.
Cause and effect.
Listen, isn't predeterminism a terrible defeatist philosophy for a young person?
If you let it get you, it sure could be.
Excuse me, Kathy, pass, please.
No, Mother.
Pass them.
Later, maybe.
Sure. How's Larry?
Working.
The party needs him.
Sure does.
Prying apart the mechanism of Lawrence Donor was never easy. And on the night of the party, without the help of Eva, I would have lost him. The trip to Brookhaven had delivered him to me, but I found I had to fight to keep him.
To answer and not scream about white cars.
No more discussion, please. Please leave
Now,
this.
tell me your objection. Now, don't yell. Tell me your objection.
Well, this is not the time for word association tests. Most of your questions I put up with. A few interest me, but this is too much. Please go.
No, damn it. Tell me why.
At this late date, I refuse to be psychoanalyzed, either by you or for the government or any... Please go.
We shouldn't have worked tonight. I'm sorry.
What is it?
One of us is the wrong man, that's what it is.
What did you ask of him?
Word association tests.
I'll not allow you to squander him with foolish questions. And you take him away from his family and now his friends. You have a responsibility.
But they're important.
Oh, you heard everything, eh? You always do.
I heard part.
Eva, they're pathologists. They're trying to autopsy me while I'm still alive.
It's my fault. You may shout at me.
You can't insulate me from every slow-witted mathematician.
Now, Martin is not slow-witted, and you know it. I can insulate you if I'm strict enough and watch.
Yeah, but
now,
I...
Come on, put on your jacket.
I'm being ill-used, Eva. I know it. They're only interested in my... not in my ideas. How did you get them? How did I get them? It's like lovemaking with a man who was interested only in the methods, not in the madness.
No, Martin is here because you want him here. You want him here to capture his mind. He thinks he's after yours, yes?
Well, not in the same way.
No, he's honest. You are subversive.
He's a stubborn idiot. Oh, he fights. His mind is brilliant. It has hardness. It penetrates. If only he knew how much more than a brain he had to offer, how important that is. The project is important too, of course, but if I could leave something, to wake him up, you know, how much more important than all the computers put together.
What? Now you've thrown him out. If he stays out, I'll hold you to it.
Well, what do I do? I think I was wrong. What do I do?
You want him to stay? I think so. You'll call him back. You'll take him downstairs and introduce him to our friends.
Well, you know... Martin.
Yes?
We'll go over these word association tests sometime later.
I need more time.
Yeah, I'll give you a little more time.
No, you won't give me a little more time. You'll give me a lot more time or none at all. As we're working now, I can never finish.
Well, I'll give you some more time.
I have work, damn it. I have work. That's what I'm doing here. You want nothing to do with it, then I'll go. Now, look, you're a dying man. And be careful what you do. Weigh your time as delicately as you can. Set your lines, Professor. That's what I want from you right now.
All right, stay.
Because if I stay, I'll drag your soul out and lay it on the table if it'll help my work. And you'll be sick of seeing me, but I'll be right there next to you.
I said stay. Well, go and put something on. Go on. We'll go over this important work of yours later. Stay. How do you do? How's the party for you? Fine. Really? Yeah?
Professor Donor, it's very kind of you to have me here.
Doctor's the man. How good of you to come here.
That's a fast pulse, Professor Donor.
It's a long flight of stairs. Good evening, August.
Have you ever seen Lorenzo de Medici in the Washington... Larry. Excuse me, Mrs. Wallace.
Professor Donner.
Yes.
Have you heard about our American primitive exhibit?
Yes, Richard.
Could I ask your advice about the...
Don't ask him questions. Make him smile. I can see tonight he's determined not to smile. Dad, you're going to play the piano. We're going to sing.
No, you can't ask me tonight.
But I'm not asking. I'm commanding. A command performance.
My mind is too tired, Kitty. I really...
There, Dr. Von Frankenstein can't be tired.
No?
Remember the movie? He's wanted in the laboratory.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring this monster alive. Before your eyes, we'll bring this monster alive.
Igor, find me a brain. I don't care where you get it. Ask Martin to go steal it from hospital.
Igor, the brain.
What?
He dropped the brain.
What?
But the baton will beat you.
My.
Take the rabbit brain, Igor.
Yes.
Yes, he can put that brain in the monster. Who'll know?
Yes. Who'll know? What? Don't bother me.
The brain.
What brain? Oh, yes. The brain. Put it in the monster. You start the machine. Frankenstein will live again? Oh, yes. That's, the super iconoplastiscope is stuck.
I'll fix it.
Yeah. That's better. And now the cosmic plastic frequency band. Huh? Yes. Huh?
Boy, he's a big one. Who's too tired to play the piano?
Who's too tired to play the piano?
Maestro, the world waits.
Yeah.
Larry, if exhaustion returns, you don't have to make excuses.
Even the world is waiting.
Maestro, could I come back? Will the fans have me?
Madame, sing. Fill the room with your voice. Let it reach the stars.
Oh, my man, I love him so he'll never know. All my life is just despair, but I don't care. When he takes me in his arms, the world is bright. All right. What's the difference if I say I'll go away?
Yeah, they can push him around a little bit when he needs it. It's a good thing. Now through with him for tonight? Yeah. Why aren't you down there? Why aren't you down there? That's a better question when I ask it. Is this the best place to watch? First row balcony. What could be better?
No. Not in English. This is grand opera. In Italian.
Je l'ai tellement
Don't bother tonight, officer.
Dad, you look tired.
I'll go to bed soon. You better turn in. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Dad. When do you go to bed?
I stay awake as long as he does. Sit down.
Oh, that was a party.
He's always having a party.
He was really working at it tonight.
The bigger the audience, the harder he works.
No, I used to do it gliding, like brushing off a fly, that much energy. Tonight he was pushing with everything he had.
You know it.
All right.
Listen, Kat, don't misunderstand. More power to him. God, more power to him. And I stood up there. From a distance, you almost didn't see the effort. Squint a little and he was gliding again.
I can't squint. And I can't stand on a balcony, Artie. I've got to stand up close where I can see.
See his hands? Blotches. Sweat. That waste when it hits his mind.
It won't. He's too great.
I know he's great. But how do you watch him die? I'd so much rather it happen to Baron von Frankenstein than him.
Well, what are you going to do? You've got a great man. Artie, the curses with the kids can really mess up a father like that.
Ah, you're bearing it beautifully.
I'm lucky. I'm like him.
I know. Good night, kid.
The more important contribution to the theory, of course, he wasn't the only one to make these contributions, but the more important contribution to the theory of valuation in lattices was from Newman. He demonstrated that the plant isn't healthy, you know.
In the 3 months I had been working with Donor, I watched his energy, which at first had seemed inexhaustible, fading, and his vigor being chopped down. But not completely. Not yet.
Larry, please don't go out. It's getting cold.
Oh, Eva, I've got cobwebs on me in this house. Outside there is sunlight. Growing things need sunshine.
I ask you not to, Larry.
There's a nip in the air, huh? We'll be back soon. Martin.
There were still many little things and big things that Donor wanted to do. He was clearing his desk.
Are you in the kitchen? Yeah. Over there. Eva. Oh, if you only knew. If you only knew. This stuff got these green things, seedlings. And we... Look. And who do you think I saw on the street? Daniel. Daniel brought us to his house, and he's got has a new harp in the living room. Daniel. And we went down to the lake, and Chinese food, and... oh, I brought back some lobster Cantonese. It's cold, yes. You can freeze it for some supper one night, huh? And there were students, my Lord, there were students in this Chinese place, and all of us went to this lecture together, and I stopped all along the way, picked up...
He was not to be stopped.
Go upstairs, Martin.
Do you have any... is there any hot water?
Tea?
Yes, please. You want an explanation?
No, I don't need one. Larry? You think that by pretending you're not sick, you will be well?
Well, why not?
I think you know what I mean. I'm jealous of time.
You know, it's hot in here. Well, I wanted to do it.
You know time is valuable to us now. So you squander it. You squander yourself. You pretend there's nothing wrong. It is a stupid thing for you, Larry. I'm using a tea bag. So am I, stupid. Being angry is also squandering.
Oh, no. Be angry. That's part of life. Let's all be angry.
I'm not angry. Don't tell me to be angry. You're so difficult. Did I want you to be shut in your room like a hermit? I complain.
Well, why not? I do complain. Tell me that I was selfish and unfair. If I was, if you think and I think I was, yes. I don't know. Tell me.
You'll be exactly and wonderfully just what you are until the capability leaves you. There has always been an unspoken bargain between us, Larry. If I weren't such an idiot, it would never have to be spoken. It's all been good, Larry. Forget everything else. I'm going to bed, Larry. Please come.
What do you think?
I process him through admissions immediately. No hesitation at all.
It isn't that easy, so would I.
No, Doctor, not yet.
Professor Donner, you ought to trust us in this. We're in a position here to extend my treatment.
I know. You'll scrape the marrow from my bones. You'll make me radioactive. I know the treatment, and I don't like it.
Now, Professor, I'm going to be tough about this.
Well, so am I. Where my best interests are concerned, I'm not going to give way to anyone. If I stay here, it'll be because I know I have no alternative. Martin, I think I'd like to have you call your friends together wherever they meet. I think I'd like to talk with them. And how far is this computer from here?
15 minutes with traffic 20.
Well, thanks, Doctor. Thank you. You think this could be me?
Well, I hope so.
Do you?
This way, sir?
Just reading out a change.
Gentlemen, this is Professor Donner. Professor Donor.
Paul Schoonover, sir. I'm very happy.
John Leach.
Mr. Leachling and Lieutenant Wellman.
Lieutenant.
And this is Colonel Wellman.
Oh,
Sir?
I know you. Conference of Physical Sciences, Aspen, Colorado, the winter of, well, when was it, 1954?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you broke your leg.
That's right.
I remember going by. May I?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, to be brief, while I have no intention of going to the hospital just yet, I'm not getting very strong. We have to be prepared for that possibility. So this, I submit, we must do. Let's get on with it. Let's have a test of the grand scheme, and if I can be of any assistance, that is, if you want me to.
Yes, sir.
Specifically?
Well, we'll get together, the machine and I, and we'll both answer questions. First I, then the computer, and you keep score. It'll be simple, dramatic, and conclusive. But it will have to be soon, because I think I only have one more trip left in me, and I think this will have to be it.
Sir, we'll start preparing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
You still ski?
Yes, sir.
Keep it up. You know, what now? A paradox. While I reserve the right to hope there's more of me than can be put into that, still, that part of me, that instinct, or the part that acknowledges death, or that part wants the machine to succeed. Paradox, huh?
Now it was Donor pushing the work along. As he felt his strength fading, he poured out more and more material, ideas, hunches, problems. He spent long periods resting or sleeping. The test was now 3 days away.
The quantum theory can serve us to handle the mechanics.
Larry? You all right?
What, is it raining? Huh?
No.
Such a gray day. What is it?
Arthur has left.
Oh?
I was out all afternoon. When I came home, I assumed he was in his room or out somewhere. I went into his room and I found his note. We tried to respect the privacy of the children. His room is pretty well cleaned out. He left under 2 o'clock for Boston.
You sure?
I know. I went to the station. The station master said.
Why Boston? Why not Boston? What did the note say?
It said I had to go. Don't worry.
Look, I'll go after him.
No. I'll go. Eva! Eva. Telephone Boston. Liberty 25727. Mention my name. I want to talk to Commander B.J. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Now, wait, Larry. I'll go and I'll bring him back.
No, it's for me to do. This is not going to be subject to arbitration.
Now, wait. You can't possibly go.
No?
No, that's a fact. You can't chase after him. You know that.
Well, then all that I'm trying to finish, this I can't leave undone. This is the most important. This I've got to do.
Larry, I can stop you when I will. Now, what can you do there that I can't?
Be the father!
There's only a charge of quarters at that number. They won't give out Commander Wilson's home number.
Well, it's a private. Hello, I'll talk to the charge of quarters. Yeah, who's this? Seaman McDonough? Seaman McCullough. Seaman McCullough. Will you check your priority list for Project 993? 993. This is Lawrence Donor. Yes. If you get a private line through, I want to talk to Commander...
May I go?
Wilson. You know this has to be me.
Please?
Commander Wilson. Yes, this is Lawrence Donor. Thank you. Thank you. I have an urgent problem, Commander. My son has left here, and I'm leaving immediately for Boston. I think he took the 204 from here to Boston. No, I don't know where he is. It's conceivable that he may have contacted the son of Professor Koch at the Massachusetts Institute. I'm very grateful. Thank you, yes. Martin, I hope you'll come with me.
Please call me when you get there so I know what's happening.
Martin, start the car, please. Yes. Knock, knock. I believe in that. Arthur.
Where are you going? It's too late for you to leave now.
May I sit?
Sit down.
Can you tell me why you left? I don't want you away, Arthur, not now.
I can't help it, Dad.
Now, look, if you feel it's something important, but I want you to come home with me.
I'll stay here.
Arthur, if I go back alone, I must know why.
Please go away. I'm sorry.
No, talk, Arthur, talk. What are the reasons?
Please don't try and make me go back.
I'm trying to make you talk, Arthur. We must find some common ground. There must be one time when we can touch.
We never touched before. Why now?
If I order you.
No more full approval.
Must I justify this to you? Must I describe to you my home as a boy? A home without full approval? I was determined that there be free air in the home I made. This I believe in. There may have been other failures, but underneath the failures there was love.
I can't watch you die. Oh, I love you, but I can't watch you. That if you needed me, if I could help you. But I can't help you. Please go home. You need Mom and Ketty and Martin. Martin is more of a son for you than I. I love you so much, but I can't watch you. I love you so much. Please go home. I'm so...
This is your home? There should be bread and salt and honey. I need.
2 days after the trip to Boston, Donor was brought by plane and by ambulance to Walter Reed Hospital, into the rooms the government had prepared for him. And a week later, our first full-scale experiment of Project Immortality, that is, Project 0260, was held. Without him. The machine was tested. It worked.
sorry. You'll just have to wait your turn. I'll schedule time for you as soon as I can.
But I have priority.
So does everybody.
There's certain areas closed to you. This is the donor program. You can have them for 30 hours.
We can barely get started in 30 hours.
We got projects 501, 702, and 993 coming in. We'll each just have time to get acquainted with our procedure. Then we'll set up longer periods. Sorry. News travels fast.
Yeah.
Every project that had ever used donor had called in for computer time by 10 o'clock this morning.
After 2 years, what a moment. I got stoned last night. Total.
Is he still alive?
Haven't heard otherwise. I suppose he still is.
Well, you know the value of this success, so I don't have to talk about it. Now we expand. Within a week, our staff will be close to triple. The Appropriations Committee has already given tentative approval for a lot of money. A lot of money. A fact sheet has been prepared, giving the essentials of the computer's performance yesterday. The computer is capable at this moment of predicting the responses of Lawrence Donor with 92% complete accuracy. I think that's astounding. I think it's perfect. I think in this machine we have him.
Sir, I think we'll have to set up a priority list for these different projects that want to use them. 405 is programming him in there right now.
What for?
They have problems that he can help them with.
Well, shouldn't one of us know where they are, or is he there for the indiscriminate use of anyone who would like to put him to work?
What do you want to be? Guardian?
Paul.
0260.
Sir, I think we could schedule time for these different projects.
Tram.
Well, isn't the proper plan to set up a standard program that'll fit in any machine, and then we can just distribute the program to whoever wants it and let them figure out the computer time?
Yes, sir. Fine.
That was his wife. He's in a coma.
Oh. Colonel, I'm sure that re-examining our material will prove that.
We think we can do this, sir. We would, or rather I would, make a complete study of your methods. Give you every conceivable test, every possible challenge, notes, every response. Then, with all the material we gather, we have a method by which our computer can sift and extract a pattern. Your pattern. The way you think, the way you react. Then we make this pattern the program of our computer. The computer becomes you.
Well, this idea to take a man and sum him up on punched cards is one about which you have a great deal of confidence?
Absolute confidence.
To see you.
Well, how have things been at home?
We've missed you.
I hope so.
Are you going to visit us?
Mm-hmm.
Soon?
I will.
Come and see Larry.
May I?
Have you tested the machine?
Yes.
Well, was it worth it?
Larry? Larry? Is he hearing anything?
He hears. He closes his eyes when he has difficulty.
I know this is a rare chance. I can get in 2 sentences without you jumping on me. Well, we tested the project yesterday. It works. Accuracy 92%. I told you it would. It's going to be a very useful tool. But only a tool. Larry, am I tiring you? Because I can come back tomorrow. Only I'd like to tell you what I've been doing. Oh, now, where can I start? I got back to Washington about a week ago. I found a nice house in Silver Springs. I stole some of your books. I reread Neuromathematica on the train, and I found a small error, but it's nothing. Look, Larry, I'd better go because I'll talk forever if I stay. Yes, thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Martin.
I'm here. Oh, I heard a limerick the other day. I wrote it down because I thought I might have a chance to read it to you. Here it is. Do limericks have titles? That's how it goes. Man is a humorous thing. He solves all the riddles of being, holds the earth and the sky, but he doesn't sense why, and he knows the whole world without seeing. When Donor died, only a nurse was there. He said something just before he died, but the nurse said she couldn't understand it. Perhaps it was technical, or a quotation, or a message garbled by pain. But she didn't hear it well enough to understand it, so that isn't in our computer either. We may have saved the science, but not the highs or the lows of his life. Larry Donor is dead.
This is Dick Joy speaking. Playhouse 90 is a CBS television network production.